Hey everybody, this is Andre Page out of Toledo, Ohio. Want to cut a short video about running while black. The situation that happened with Ahmaud Arbery and now George Floyd, even though he wasn't a runner, is still, something that just, I don't know. I don't understand out. I just don't understand why, why we're being targeted, why we hate it so much. It's ridiculous. But as far as running goes, in my area here in Toledo, I don't have any issues running. I run solo. Sometimes I run with a couple people, but the majority of my runs are solo runs. But I kind of run in my neighborhood, or I'll hit a park that's in my area, I people are pretty friendly here, so I can't say that I've experienced anything negative, but it's always in the back of my mind, especially now with what just took place with these past killings of black men. I just got back from a run today, and I was a little bit on edge when I was out running, and just thinking, it's about to happen. Somebody's gonna say something, fly, and and I don't know. It's just I just don't know. I don't know the answer. It just doesn't make sense. But I wanted to cut this video and share my experience running while black. So that's all I got, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't let this stop you. I'm gonna keep running. Believe that.
This episode is part 2 of Running While Black, a collaborative episode with Jay of Fit Health Well podcast. In the show, we will have a roundtable, all podcast host discussion featuring Tasha of Black Gyrl SOS and Derek of Behind the Wheel podcast. Let's get started. Next up on the show, we have Derek Oxley of Behind the Wheel podcast and Tasha of Black Gyrl SOS. I want you to talk. I listened to your last show, so I really want you to go into that, with your encounter in the supermarket and just how you feel about the the Arbery case. Tasha, meet Derek. Derek, meet
Derek.
Tasha.
Hey, how's it going? So I'm located in Orlando, Florida. I'm actually in Winter Park, which is like a little city right outside of Orlando, and I'm from the Bronx. You would normally be able to very much hear it, but it's been a day. So anyway, I was in the supermarket, and they got all these new protocols set up where there's one line and they kind of filter you into the aisles now. And so I walked all the way to the back of the line, which is literally on the other end of the supermarket. And when I got back there, I just had a small basket. And the manager, who is a black man, he was like, "Is that all you have?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, there's an express line up front." And he told me to go back to the front of the store, which again is now on the opposite end of the store that I just walked from. So he got on the walkie-talkie and he walkie-talkie the people that are filtering people into the lines and said, "I'm sending one to the express line." At that point, I walked over there. Now at this point, I walked past these people twice. I walked past them going to the back of the line, and I walked past them going to the front of the line. So I'm on the line, I'm waiting my turn, 6 feet distance. There's somebody in front of me, and then there's somebody being cashed out. There's a freezer right to the left of the line, and I see this pressed coconut water that I've been stalking everybody for, calling across town, does your Publix have it? Because mine doesn't. So mine finally got it, and I was like, oh yes. I put my basket down on the little circle that says 6 feet distance, went to the freezer, grabbed 2 of them, threw them in my basket. As I'm coming back to my basket, the line is moving. So I grab my basket and I'm moving. The lady starts yelling, "Oh, the line is in the back." This is the lady that works there. And I was like, "I'm well aware. You well aware that you saw me walk by you twice. So what's your point?" So then she was like, no, there's a line and it's fine, it's fine. I said, if it was fine, then you wouldn't have said nothing. I said, if it's a problem, let's just go call the manager. Because that's who sent me up here. I didn't come up here of my own volition. I said, and I know he called you because I didn't leave until he called you. I did not leave until he got on the phone, on the walkie-talkie with you. So what's the problem? She's like, it's not a problem. We'll take care of you. I said, but it seems like a problem. Because if it wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be making no loud ass announcement in the middle of white ass Winter Park to my one black dot ass in the supermarket like I won't fuck this shit up. Because I will. This is where you have fucked up. You think I have an issue being an angry black woman. No issue with it. Don't even bother me. Don't affect me. Shit is just a motherfucking adjective. I moves on. So then she's like, no, it's okay. I said, but call the manager if you feel like this is a problem, call the manager. And she's like, no, it's fine. So the whole time I'm still online because now somebody else is being cashed out and I'm still waiting. So I'm just mugging the shit out of her the entire time. Like, if looks could kill, she would have dropped dead.
Let's say when you said that, I felt all of the Bronx at that.
Yeah, because you're making a scene like literally for no reason at all. No reason at all. Like, you're making it seem like I arbitrarily cut the line. Like, I felt like I didn't have to wait online. Like, I felt entitled. And like, there's very few black people that come in and out of that store just in general that don't work there because of where it's located. Bitch, you're not finna play with me. You're not.
Now, you're in Florida, so what is like, that's another stand your ground state. What is the climate like in Florida?
These idiots are standing a fucking idiotness is what they doing. So I live in a blue county. So Orange County is blue. We have an old black man for a mayor. It's like having your granddad as a mayor. He's the best. Like, he's basically Cuomo. So he'll get on the news and he'll be like, yeah, I read this memo from DeSantis. I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, sit y'all asses down. So we still have curfew and we still have like a very limited access to stuff. Some things have been open because Florida rolled out phase 1, but he limited his phase 1 rollout even more than the governor did. So my county is really not too bad, with the exception of, just old white people being old white people, but that's kind of like a Tuesday, that's regular. But the next county over, which is Seminole County where Trayvon was killed, that, and I mean, like, when I say next county over, I mean whenever I take my runs, by the time I hit mile 2, I'm in Seminole County. So it is literally like walking distance, the next county over. These motherfuckers is outside every day with their signs, they picketing, Trump 2020, let me outside, ain't no social distancing, they all breathing on each other. And I'm okay if Darwin wants to do his thing and go ahead and knock these motherfuckers off. Natural selection, get rid of them since they don't want to socially distance.
Listen,
I'm okay with that, but like every day they are outside, like on the corners, picketing. I'm like, what are you mad about? Florida's open. Your county's open. What do you like the
now,
yelling?
Is Florida a carry state? Open carry?
No, we are not open carry.
Wow.
We're not open carry, but you can carry.
Yo,
Like
you serious?
Yeah, it's a concealed carry state. You can absolutely, and I plan to be concealed and carrying shortly.
Are you licensed now?
Not yet. I should have been already. I just never had time to get over there to do my class, but I shoot often.
Listen, my mom moved to Georgia like 4 years ago, and her first month there, she was licensed to carry and all of that.
I should have been
shotguns, pistols, all kind of shit.
But I mean, it don't matter, license or no license. You come to my house, I will shoot your ass.
I hear that.
That is that is an absolute.
What say you, Derek Oxley?
About what?
About everything.
Do I want to bust a cap or somebody? I was waiting for her to. I thought she was gonna slap. I'm like, I got my ribs cracked. I'm like, yo, this is getting good.
Listen, y'all have to listen to her last episode.
If I was not an attorney, I promise you, old Bronx Tasha would have knocked her ass out. However, I'm not losing my bar
I was
card.
waiting for it. I was like, come on, let's get to the good part.
I am not losing my bar card over the bitch that watches the freezer section in Publix. That's not what we doing. that's,
Okay.
that's giving them way too much power over me. I
Yeah.
will drag your ass to make a point, but I'm not about to risk my livelihood and everything that I done went in there fucking dead for. We're not doing that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's too.
No, I mean, I've never had. I think the only incident that I've had with folks, I went for a run, and there's a trail that's like a quarter of a mile. You get access to it like a quarter mile from the house, so I could walk there. And sometimes I drive there. So this one time I just decided I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna start my run outside my house, go down there, get on the trail, come back. So it's 2 miles out, and then obviously 2 miles coming back. So on my way back, there's this cop car waiting there for me. You know, I'm coming out, and the guy's looking at me. He's like, "So, I need to talk to you for a minute." I'm like, he's like, "What were you doing?" And it's summertime. I got on shorts, you know, my singlet, my hat. I'm sweating. I got my music in. He's asking me, "What am I doing?" I'm like, "I'm running." It's like, "So why?" You know, I got a call from somebody said that you were, you know, there was what? I was like, it was what? It's like, you know, somebody was out here on their property. I'm like, yeah, I was running. It's like, you can't walk on the property. I'm like, oh, okay. So I need to see some identification. It's like I don't have any ID. I'm out running. I'm like, what do you think I'm doing? So to think that somebody called the cops, had them sit there, you figure 2 miles, and I wasn't running like at a blistering pace, so it had to have been maybe 35, 40 minutes that you're waiting for me to come out of the trail to ask me about, like, what am I doing on the trail? So it's just, I mean, some people, they see you and they feel like, you know, I have to pick up the phone, I have to call and let somebody know I seen a black man out here running, and I don't know, and I had on running gear, sneakers, shorts, headphones. It's running gear. It's like, what do you think I'm doing? I mean, and that's just the time that we live in. Yeah, I guess that becomes a bit much for people, you know. I don't know.
What I wanted to ask you is, you know, we constantly, as Black people, right, we always have to be, there's this level of awareness that we have to have, whether we like it or not, right? Like, all right, well, what I'm gonna do today is like, it's like a strategy to it. But like, what do you feel that, like, why do we have to do that in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, why has that become such an issue? And what I struggle with and what I find is, and this is why I'm so glad we have this space to speak with Black people, is when I try to explain these things to our white counterparts, a lot of times they just don't get it, right? And they don't understand it. But you know, can you speak to, Tasha, your level of frustrations with that?
So I call it taupe conversation. If you get an opportunity to listen to my last episode of Black Girl SOS, I call it taupe conversation. When people don't see color and all I see is the person and I don't understand why, you know, I am just so sorry this happened to you. That's taupe shit. Don't talk to me in taupe. Talk to me in motherfucking vibrant colors. Talk to me in HD, because your ass see color the same way I see color. And you see it every goddamn day.
I used to like taupe.
You know what? It's supposed to. You know why? Because taupe they use it in hospitals because it's supposed to be soothing. It's supposed to keep you calm. And when white people talk to you in taupe, it's because it's seriously. It's because they're trying to minimize you vocalizing your experience as a Black person in this country. They talk to you in taupe because they want you to feel. They want you to be calm about the shit that you're going through. No, bitch. I'm in a fucking upheaval every day. If I walk out my door, that's vibrant color. That for me, it's neon green.
Neon green.
See the shit on? It's neon green.
I hear you.
It is volts. It's that loud ass color that Nike uses on all their products. It's bright as hell, and you can't miss it, because that is what being Black in this country is. It is bright as hell, and you can't miss it. So when somebody tells me, oh, you know, I don't see color and shit like that, when I'm trying to explain to them, listen, your experience does not mirror mine, like in the least bit. So when I came back to Florida and I started running here with Track Shack, which is basically like the equivalent of New York Roadrunners back home, I was literally the only Black person in my speed on Speed Tuesdays. There's no other black person there. And there was only two other people of color. One was an Asian man and one is a Latina. That's it. That's it. No, that it's just the three of us. And I don't even count the Asian dude because he funny style. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. He's funny style, so I don't really fuck with him. But me and the Latina chick, we're not cool. We actually used to live across the street from each other before I moved to Winter Park. So we were really cool. So everybody around me is white, like Florida. Their parents are Republican type of white people. Mm-hmm. And I was having a conversation with one of the girls in my PACE group. She was saying that she just had a new baby and she left her job. And I was like, oh, that's great that you and your husband are in a situation where you could actually leave your job, like to stay home. Like, that's awesome. And you still have time to come out and run and shit. Like, yo, kudos. And she was like, yeah, we had that opportunity because my parents were so nice and they let us move back in. And I was like, that's really funny because when people of color move back in with their parents, it's always, why don't you motherfuckers get a job? But you left your job. I said, so I find that very interesting, this approach that you've taken to life. And she was like, no, I don't really. I said, no, I didn't ask you. I'm telling you that when you all do it, it's like, oh, look at this family that is giving their kid an opportunity to move back home with their spouse and their young child so that they can save up money, even though she left her job. So I'm not even sure how that assisted with the savings, but whatever. You moved back home so that you guys could save money so that you can move into a bigger house. But if we move back home, the very first narrative is these motherfuckers don't work, they lazy, they mooching off their mama, they mooching off their grandmother, or X, Y, and Z. I said the narrative is never the same. I said, and this is always going to be my issue. Like, it's never not going to be my issue. And I guess it's frustrating because, or not I guess, I know it's frustrating because it is woven into the tapestry of this country. And this country tries to act like that ain't it. Like if you've been to Germany before, you know that Germany takes pride in admitting where they fucked up historically. And you can walk anywhere in Berlin and find historical artifacts of how fucked up they were as a country and how they hope to never repeat that part of their history. But in America, Black history don't even start until slavery in school. So it's like we were not even a person before then. And they don't see that as a fucked up part of American culture. They don't see that as something being woven into the fabric, that they teach us our history from enslavement. So shit like that is very frustrating when I talk to people who are not of color. And even when I talk to people of color whose parents came here willingly, that I have that frustration also with them. Like, I'm very happy that your family was not enslaved. I'm ecstatic that you know your lineage. I would not wish this on my worst enemy, to have lost your history and not know from where you descended. So to talk to me as if you're somehow better than me, bruh, my lineage endured 400 years of fuck you and we still thriving. So you're not better than me. Like, you came here for the hard work my family put in. The little bit of grace that you do get here, send me a thank you card, bitch. We did that. You know what I'm saying? This shit wasn't free, and it wasn't easy.
You cracking the boys up. They didn't know Tasha. They didn't know you.
He said, send me a thank you card.
I don't have a filter.
I'm like, yo, she talking about my mama and daddy? They came here.
Listen, if they came here and acted brand new about it, then yes, I'm talking
What's
to
your
their
address? I'll send you a thank you card. I'm like, I started to talk to you in tote. You think things have gotten better?
When I go to Florida.
Derek, I better not see you using a taupe line going forward.
You can use it, just cite me.
I'm going to give you credit the first time. I'm going to give you credit the first time. That's
I'll take it the first time. That's all right.
You're talking to me in mauve. She said
Oh,
tote.
God.
I can't. I might use that tomorrow. I think I might crack it and tote.
Tasha, he's not kidding. He's gonna steal
I
your
don't think
shit.
he's kidding. I think he's very
Yeah.
serious.
I'm serious. I'm gonna say she was this angry black woman. She said, "Don't talk to her in tote." That just triggered her.
Let me tell you something. It's very important for black women to not be fazed by other people's narratives.
Mm-hmm.
That because the minute we are fazed by what other people dictate about us, that's when we stop fighting for money at work. Like these are some of the things I talk about in my podcast, and some of the things I talk about with young girls that I've mentored, and even like some of my colleagues. Like I have literally rewritten counter offer letters for fellow attorneys. Like we get so caught up in the narrative of whatever other people put on us, right? We don't want to be the angry black woman. We don't want to be the combative black woman. We don't want to be defensive. We don't want to look ungrateful. And then we'll get a job offer for something that is significantly lower than what we are worth. And then we don't want to squander the opportunity, so we don't push back and ask for what we deserve. And it's like, bruh, capitalism is capitalism. If you don't ask for your money, ain't nobody gonna give it to you. If I can get the work for less, I'm gonna get it for less. Push back. But when you become so consumed with not wanting to feed a narrative that's not even truth, you hold yourself back. You give them all the authority to be like, hey, well, you know what? Since I'm offering you pennies on a dollar, take it or leave it. Fucking leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it. Because I bet you if you're really worth the money, they're gonna come back and pay your ass. They always do.
Yep.
So you
Can't be right at that. Tote. I'm a tote for real.
He's so silly.
I'm thinking about how I'm gonna use it in a sentence. I might have to enter that in the Urban Dictionary.
If I see that shit in the Urban Dictionary, I know you did it.
You're gonna have to pay Tasha residuals for that one.
I'ma sue your ass.
So, wow. That's all right.
Jay, where are you at? Are you all in New York? Is everybody in New York?
Also, for the past 2 years, I have relocated. I moved to Canada. I grew up in the Bronx, Washington Projects.
Okay.
So, spent the better part of my life there, and then just relocated out here. So the discussion I had with Kim, I wanted to work. I had my podcast, and I was already following Kim as well. And then the Ahmaud Arbery situation happened, right? The killing. I'm just going to call it what it is.
It's a murder. It's not a killing. It's a murder.
The murder, exactly.
Slaughter.
The slaughter, right? And I thought that this was a perfect opportunity actually for us to combine our podcast and just have collective minds, because as we discussed in this program, there's just discussions that I can't have with people outside of our race, and that they understand and they get it. And I have these conversations with my people, and they understand. Right. And to me, like, that's something that's important. And we all have platforms and we all have a space. And not only is it important to get the message out, but it's just therapeutic. I don't know about anybody else, but for myself, it's therapeutic to have that conversation and be like, you know what happened? It's gonna, nothing's gonna happen to them, right? Nothing's gonna they're just gonna get off, right? So it's therapeutic to have that conversation. And it's just important because at the end of the day, I just want to see us move forward, whether it's, we have our own businesses, or, we support each other and we just unify. Because I see other groups do it, right? I'm just going to be candid when I say it, but it happens in the Jewish community. It happens in Asian communities. They have their own banks. They have their own communities and things like that. And I'm just really proactive, and at any time, if it's positive and it's us, I'm for it.
Listen, I support that. Where are you at, Derek?
And I was about to say Connecticut. I'm in Connecticut. I don't know why I was thinking Canada.
God bless you.
Why you saying like that?
He's in Wally World.
I used to work in New London.
Oh, okay.
I used to teach in New London.
World.
Connecticut. Oh my God! Wow, really over there? Yeah.
I'm just, have you been to New London?
No, I don't know where New London. I've been out here about maybe 5-6 years now.
Where are you at, NCT?
Wally World, Wallingford.
Oh, she was being for real.
I was being for real.
Yeah, for real. Wallingford. Yo, so when I first moved to Connecticut, I was living in Bridgeport.
Okay.
Right? And so a friend of mine, like I was working in Wallingford. And so a friend told me, like, yeah, let me find a place or whatever. And so when I finally moved here, she was like, oh, by the way, the Ku Klux Klan used to meet in the town hall.
What?
Sounds about
in
right.
Bridgeport?
No, in Wallingford.
In Wallington.
Oh, Wallingford. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, really? So, this is like
not...
after the fact. I'm like, huh?
That's believable.
Yeah. So
wait,
this is like the last... They don't. I don't think they do it anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't do it anymore. Or maybe they do. They just maybe it's at somebody's house.
Go over there at 3 a.m. and see what's going on.
I ain't going to nobody's house till 3 a.m. Yo, yeah, and it was like the last state to celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday. The last county in Connecticut to celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday. So it was like, oh, they're sort of like a little behind.
A little.
Just a little behind.
Connecticut is trash. I got
it's crazy.
I got a lot of family that live out there. They're in Bridgeport and in New Haven. And when I was young, I used to go to Fresh Air Fund in Wethersfield, which is a small white ass town in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And at the time, there was only 2 black families there. I went back to visit as an adult when I started teaching in New London after college. And then there was only 1 family left, and they were moving. they had a for sale sign on their front lawn. I think that was like my first experience with real racism was when I was in junior high school and I used to go to Connecticut for Fresh Air Fund, because I've always been like this. So like this is the same ass energy I've always had. And I got there and I was just like, yeah, I slapped the shit out your little white ass. Like, I don't know who you think you talking to, but I'm from the hood. And they just felt like they could say and do anything to me because I was a black girl. And I was like, yo, I'll knock you motherfuckers out. Like, I'm not really sure what kind of time y'all on. And I just like literally, I think it was like the second day I was there, I think I knocked this girl off her bike. I was like, sis, I'm not sure what you heard, but this ain't that. Like, this is not that Sweet Valley High popular girl in school gets to say whatever she wants shit. I will slap you with a fucking bottle. Like, I grew up in a rough ass neighborhood in the 80s, bitch. I survived crack. This is not a game. Like, you really gotta monitor how you talk to people. And I tell white people that at work. Monitor your tone. Monitor that shit. This is where you should use taupe. This is where white people don't use taupe when they get to work. They want to talk to you when they have like their little authority and they're a little higher than you on the org chart. Then they want to talk to you in fucking hyper pink, right? Everything is real vibrant and big. This is where you need to use taupe. My job is based out of Chicago and I work from home. And I'd be like, listen, a lot of people from the south side of Chicago have jobs, right? Watch how you talk to those people at work. Everything you heard about the south side of Chicago is a fact. Like, nobody made that shit up. These people will fuck you up after hours. Mind how you talk to them. They might have somebody come up after work while you minding your business, fucking drinking your fucking Starbucks frap after you done got real spicy on the phone talking crazy. Cause I mean, I have some work colleagues that talk out of pocket, like we on the streets. And I always have to remind them, like, mind who you're talking to like that. These motherfuckers got cousins that don't give a fuck about nothing that live on the west side. On the west side of Chicago. I'm like, this shit could go left. They on the south side. These niggas is on the belt. Like, these people are crazy for real. Like, people in Chicago, the crime rate is still high during COVID.
Not taking a break, huh?
Like, we're locked in and the crime rate is still up. So I would just use that as a litmus test for how to conduct myself with certain people. When they should talk in taupe, they talk very vibrant, and when they need to. acknowledge that shit is out of control, they want to talk in tope. But to the other part of your question about Arbery, because I am an attorney, I am probably more frustrated than other people, than quote unquote layman's. I because it's a constant reminder of how very broken the justice system is, and those of us that are black attorneys, like we live in a very limited structure. Like we're all trying to fight the good fight. Even those of us that are not civil rights attorneys, like I'm not a civil rights attorney. I'm a business attorney, and we're all trying to fight the good fight from whatever seat we're in. But we feel so smothered because there's always limitations to what we can do, right? Like, doesn't matter how hard we advocate, if this case is in a county full of racists, i.e. Trayvon, that jury is still that fucking jury. Doesn't matter how well I do my job. And then to the outside world, it looks like the black attorney let the black family down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't win for losing, and that's doubly frustrating. So with this Arbery situation, and I really don't anticipate that it's going to end favorably at all, given the county that it's in, given the fact that it took 2 DAs recusing themselves and a leak of the video to even get it where it's at. I'm not very hopeful that we're gonna get a good result from this. So
now, what happens with the case? Because the district attorney, she's not in New Brunswick, right? She's outside of there.
No, yeah, she's outside there, but it's still going to be tried where it happened, unless they motion to move the venue, and then even still, that motion needs to be granted, right? So then we still have to deal with the judges that sit on the bench. And these judges sit on the bench for eons. They're veteran racists. You know what I'm saying? They're not even neos at it. They've been racist for a long time, and they've been sitting on the bench for a long time. They've been incarcerating us at unfair rates and for unfair sentences for a long time. So it's like
he'll get a jury of his peers.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. And a judge of his peers. So
a judge that probably is his peer.
And that's my point.
Literally.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Tasha, what are some of the tactics, just from a legal aspect, that you see them doing? Because, and I knew about this because I grew up in the 80s and the 90s during that time. But with Ahmaud Diallo, what they did, right? Because when he got killed by the officers, shot at 14 times, right? They knew, okay, we
40-something times.
We're gonna take this to Albany. They're not gonna do a motion to move just because it's a jury of their peers, white peers. But what do you see them doing in the defense, rather, trying to prepare for this case? Because I always feel like every time we saw it with Trayvon Martin, and we're seeing it now with Ahmaud, that when they die and they get killed, they're on trial.
That's always the case, and I think that what Lee Merritt is trying to do, and what what's the other guy's name? He actually went to my school too. Can't even think of his name.
Starts with C.
He was also on the Trayvon case.
Crumb.
I'm sorry, Crumb. Thank you. So they're very savvy to the differences. So there's real innate differences to like a Trayvon and an Ahmaud issue and an Ahmaud. Ahmaud happened in New York. That's a blue state, right? So that's number one. A jury of your peers just might get you some people that are going to be for Ahmaud. That is less likely to happen in a red state like Florida and a hyper red state like Georgia. So the jury alone is already going to be more leaning towards prosecution. The jury is already being influenced because of the media. And with social media making everything that much more accessible, very contrary to how things were when the Amadou Diallo issue happened. Like then you needed to wait on the news, you needed to wait on a newspaper run. Now you can get your narrative out like that. And I think that Merritt and Crump are very, very savvy at the way that they try to use social media to ensure that the narrative does not lean in a Fox kind of way where we're putting the victim on trial and we are remembering who the criminal is and who is actually on trial and who needs to be prosecuted. So I think that they're very smart in doing that, especially because, like I said, the jury is already being influenced. I do think they should motion to move the venue. I don't think that it would be granted, truthfully, but I think they should do it anyway. If anything, it stalls moving the case forward and just gives them more time to build their case. Like utilize all the procedural stallings that you can to build a stronger case, because in red states, even when shit is airtight, somehow they manage to poke a hole. So
thank you, Tasha. I appreciate that feedback on that.
no problem.
Kim, do
It's
you have
good to
any?
have a little legalese up in here to tell us, what's going on. But yeah, I want to
The only
thank
time I talk in
Tasha
tone.
for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Yes, Black Gyrl SOS. If you guys are not subscribed to her podcast, the way she kept it real here, she keeps it even more real on that show.
Black Gyrl SOS.
Yeah,
With
it
the
is
Y.
GYRL.
Oh, okay.
GYRL. And yes, thank you to Mr. Derek Oxley. He's been on the Runway podcast before. Y'all might recognize him. His show Behind the Wheel podcast. I'll put all of the links in the description below so you can follow both of them. And hopefully we could do this again under better circumstances.
Better circumstances.
Forward to it.
All right, guys. Thank you so
Thank
much for being on the show.
Y'all have
All
a
right.
great day.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see y'all on the
Later.
internets.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Be sure to subscribe to The Runway on your favorite podcast app and leave us a review of the show on Apple Podcasts. It would really help me out. If you are a runner that has a story to tell and you would like to be on the show, you can email hello@therunwave.com or send us a DM on Instagram to The Run Wave. See you next time.